Okay, let's now get back to our class. So this time we're going to talk about how to make a scene. Okay. In gaming industry, we call this process a level design. So this is the part one of it. So first thing first, we're going to talk about what is the procedure, what is the phases, what are the stages of a level design. So right now, as you can see, we roughly separate the whole level design process into four different stages. The first one is concept development, and the second one is pre-production, and the third one is production, and the fourth one is post-production. So let me introduce each of them separately. For the first stage, we call this stage a concept development stage. In this stage, everything is drafted, so probably you only have one splendid and fantastic idea, and you still need to do a lot of brainstorming and trying to explore the unlimited design space. So in this stage, the most important thing for you is to come up the following things. The first thing you have to work out is the high concept. A high concept is a two-sentence description of your idea, and you can use too much sentences or words to describe your high concept. That is because if you use too much words, any idea will be solid down, will be too detailed at this moment. So right now at this moment in the concept development stage, the most important thing to is to keep the uncertainty as large as possible, and that will enlarge your design space for future stages. But it's not suitable to grow the design space as a universe. So probably you have still give a direction of the current concept. And for example, a high concept could be uh, a fantastic world for the young boys to explore with many adventures and many fruitful results like that. And probably when you are designing a game for your classmate, for your school, maybe, uh, and wanted campus that you never seen before. And haunted, sorry, haunted campus that you never seen before, so that you can make a ghost story or a horror game for your campus. So this is high concept, and beyond that, you have to grow the two-sentence high concept into a two-page pitch document. A two-page pitch document, as you can see, is larger than the previous high concept, and you have more room to put your idea, including what would the plot be, how many characters are there, and what's the major gameplay of it. And so this should be described in your pitch document. And after that, you are going to make a very fantastic document. It's called a concept document. The concept document is 20 pages long, maybe a PowerPoint slides, and maybe some notes for people who can attend your presentation, and take it as a takeaway to home. So the concept document is typically a very detailed, a very beautiful printed pages that for your investors. So your investor will have a pitch meeting, and in that meeting, you can provide your concept document to each of your potential investors, and even though they can't figure it out at the at the present in the in the present of the meeting, and they can take the document back and have a thorough, detailed research for it. And the next stage is pre-production. In the pre-production stage, your investment probably will give you a little money to let you kick off your project. And in this stage, you are still going to do brainstorming, just like you did do before. But this time, uh, the target of this game will be narrowed down further, and the design space will be shrinkage to a smaller one. So in the most important thing in this stage is to work out a prototype. Um, by the prototype, I mean is a core certification, a core verification of your gameplay without any beautiful asset in it. So most of our prototype is made of gray box or gray model, untextured model, or some hand drawing sketch. So that is enough for core verification. So in this stage, the most important delivery will be your game design document, GDD. The GDD describes the game design, every aspect of your game design, like how should the camera move, should it be first person or third person, so how many stages are they in your game, is there any boss fight, or are you going to implement an inventory item bag, or is there any achievement system? It will be like that. So for later stages, if you are going to decide to outsource your project, uh, you the only thing you need to do is to give your outsource team your GDD. So the GDD is the top guideline for your project development. For some teams, they are also going to write some technical design document, what we call TDD. A TDD has some detailed technical spec in it, but that is not mandatory. That is not must required. Besides, something will provide art production plan at this moment. What is art production plan? An art production plan describes the art pipeline in a rough manner. For example, if you are going to use 3D scanned terrain assets, if you scan some rock from your real world spaces, and how to turn this scan the vertex cloud into a skin mesh uh, or static mesh. Okay, so you have to describe the art production pipeline in this document. And besides that, you have to have some limitation, have some restriction for your art assets in order to regulate the quality of your art assets. Okay, that is pre-production phase. And in production phase, and this is the most important phase, because in production phase, the investor will invest so much money and in order to pay for the staffs. So in production phase, you'll have many programmer, many artists, and probably some designers will also be paid. And so everyone get his own job and busy every day. This is production stage. So in this stage, some different tasks will be initiated: the art task, the program task, the level design task, the gameplay task, the sound engineering task, and the quality test task. So at the end of this stage, you'll finish two different samples. One is alpha sample and the other is beta sample. The difference between these two samples is the maturity and readiness of the samples. And the final stage is called the post-production stage. And in this stage, almost all technical things are done, but some bug is left in this stage. So you have to debug. You have to do an intensive debug task in this stage. Besides that, the marketing tasks are started. Uh, like you have to negotiate with the customer. You have to uh, negotiating with so many marketing manager in order to let your commercial commercial materials be put on some channels. So this is the thing you are busy in post-production phase. All right, so in this stage, you have to select one golden sample from the release candidates version. You'll have several release candidates. And each time you find out some bug and you do the debug task, you'll have a new release candidate. So for example, you'll have RC1, RC2, RC3, RC4, RC blah blah blah, RC11, and until you are satisfied with the quality, you can make some RC version to be the golden sample, and then you'll release the golden sample to manufacturer. If you are going to make some DVD, and you have to provide the golden sample DVD to your manufacturer, and they are going to make the disc for you. So that's it. But right now, no one is going to make DVD anymore. So in this era, we always download the executables. We're always going to download the software from Steam. So, but we are still called the final sample as the golden sample. This is the traditional term. So this is a post-production stage. Okay, so if you are interested in gaming industry, the gaming industry, all the staff are doing these life cycles again and again and again, and they just finish one game and one another game and another game. So this is their daily life. All right, so today we are interested in the level design things. So the most key feature I want to highlight are the two things listed over here. The first one is whiteboard task, and the second one is gray box task. So what is a whiteboard? What is a gray box? The whiteboard is pretty like a floor plan. Before you start to make a scene, before you start to make a level, you have to plan everything on a whiteboard or a paper, white paper. So you can have a pencil and make your sketch on a whiteboard, on a white paper, or you can just use anything at your hand to bring your ideas into the real world. So at this moment, you have to draw by yourself. So the whiteboard is the very beginning of your level design. You should take care of it. The most important thing in your whiteboard design is scale. Many people can make a consistency scale in their whiteboard because they are very they are not so familiar with level design, so they have certain level design experiences, and if this is the case, they typically will not have a good enough sense of scale to draw whiteboard. But as the experience grows, their skills to draw whiteboard will get better and better. So later we'll see some example of whiteboard. So after you finish the whiteboard, namely the floor plan, you're going to have a 3D gray box. The gray box is the first time you make your level in 3D manner. And because whiteboard is 2D only, so you have to transfer the 2D stance of this level into 3D. So that's what we call gray box. And gray box is very important. I know some student doesn't do gray box and directly build his thing. Trust me, this is a catastrophe. This is a disaster. The first thing they are going to miss is the scale. Is the scale. Because you have to maneuver the whole thing under a consistency scale. Otherwise, you will lose your sense of scale. This is the first important thing. And the second thing they are going to miss is the design of passage. Because navigation plays an important role probably in all the game category. Especially navigation is especially important in ARPG. And so many people, so many students want to make an ARPG. But they don't have any tool to manage their rules. If you can't manage your rules, you can manage your play hour. You don't know how much time your player will take to finish one level, and you'll have no way to balancing your events, because sometimes you want the events to be put in the east direction, and the second event will be put on the opposite direction. Then this will make your player busy rushing between two these event points. This is very boring. So whiteboard in Gradebox is the very important tool of level designer to make everything playable. All right, this is a detailed working manner for the level designer, and I think we can skip this because we're not going to be we're not to use the professional way in this semester. But you have to know that the document is everything. Before GDD, you have to make a prototype to verify the gameplay, and after you verify the gameplay, it is fun enough to make a game, and you're starting to write your GDD. And by the way, you're going to write your art concept production plan at the same time. And when you start to build your level, the game designer will use some prefab or modular asset to make your game design. And everyone just bidding at their own tasks, and then the alpha version will be come up. Okay, that's the production phase. All right. So next, let's show some whiteboard to you. Okay. So this is a whiteboard, a typical whiteboard. Just like you can see, it's a floor plan, and there are some annotation just written beside the plan. So for some complex version, you'll have some detailed annotation for each of the area. So I think there is no a solid rule. There's no rigid restriction for how to make whiteboard. So you can release your inspiration, release your creativity ideas, and just draw anything you want. That is okay. But if you want to listen to some pros, there are some links over here. Probably you can see the links below and find some information in it. Okay. So this is very interesting. This is a friend of mine, Robert Young, and he posted his tweet on his Twitter about how to make a whiteboard. Actually, there are 4 different classes of whiteboard. The first class is beginner. The second class is intermediate, and the third class is advanced, and the fourth class is expert. So what's the difference? What's the differences between these 2 different levels? I'm sorry, different 2 class. And let's dive into it. For beginner class, as you can see, everything is scattered. There isn't any idea about area, so everything is put like a rubbish. So this is for beginner. And beyond beginner, you'll be able to enter the intermediate class. In this class, you'll have a sense of area. So area is very important. But in this intermediate class, most of the designer only plays rectangle areas like this. So as you can see, here is a rectangle area, here is a rectangle area, and here is a rectangle area. So how to connect between any 2 of the areas? Simple. They will use an L-cornered passage. So just like you can see, everything is rectangle, everything is perpendicular. This is very obvious in intermediate class. Probably they are writing or they are drawing their whiteboards on a grid paper. And for most of the grid paper, there are some dashed line or some uh, annotation lines on the grid paper, but all of the lines are in perpendicular. So this intermediate class students or designer just follow the grid line and draw such a perpendicular shape. And when you enter the third class, it will be an advanced class. So in this class, the area, sensor area is much more stronger than before. And the most important improvement is the shape of passage. Take this as an example. Here is an area and here is an area, and the passage is looks like an extension of the area. See, it's no more only perpendicular, no more only rectangles. So if you are an advanced level designer, you're free to draw any shape passage. So this is a difference to before. And when you practice more, you'll probably join the Asper class. So as you can see in the Asper class, the area is not so obvious. The area will be placed as a metaphor of the shape. So it's very, very deep and very, very natural. And even so, the passage is not so obvious too. You have to find almost everywhere you can walk through, but uh, only for some arranged passage you can gain some benefit from it. If you can't find a passage, you'll be detoured or spend too much resources doing some required task. So this is the Asper class. So if you are interested in Robert Young's idea about game design, you are encouraged to see this footage. The footage name is Level Design a Day, so it's very funny and very fun and has a lot of knowledge in it. Okay, that's it. So now let's look at the very famous the map. It's called DDoS. It's from Counter Strike. Anybody played Counter Strike before? Okay, I think it's a game for old men like me. Oh yes, you are right. Because Counter Strike probably is 20 years ago. Again, in 20 years ago, much more than 20 years ago. So this is a classic map from that game. All right. So the reason why I show this map is because the author of the DDoS map put some reflection, reflection of the design of the map in this blog post. So probably you can have a look of it. But the important thing of that is, take this as an example. Somebody made a 3D printed prototype for this map, like this. I don't think this one is made by the original authors because that is 20 years before. At that time, there isn't any 3D printer, right? So you can use 3D printer to make a prototype of a level for sure, and that will be very benefit. Of course, you can use cardboard only to make a prototype of your level. That is also good, like this. And so for the architecture department, for our friend coming from architecture department, as I know, they spend so much time in making some paper prototype for their buildings. So their buildings, their prototype will be look like this. Okay. So it's a well-known procedure for architecture designer. Okay, so it must be valid for our game designer. Next. Okay, this is a map illustration from the classic game Dark Souls. I personally would recommend every student to play Dark Souls when you're studying in college. And the reason why is because Dark Souls is a very, very detailed ARPG, thinking in detail, very deep and very detailed. So if you ever played Dark Souls before, you'll know that the fight between two characters, between the player and the AI, is very treacherous. The reason why I say treacherous is because sometimes your attack can block others' attack, but sometimes you can't do that. So you have to carefully observe the motion of your enemy. Otherwise, you'll take the wrong response, and then this will be fatal. So this is one of the level from Dark Souls series number one. And the title of the map is Undead Asylum. So as you can see, there are several different colors on this map. So from yellow to orange, they represent to low height to high height. So in this map, the lowest part will be the starting point. Point number one is your starting point. And then you're traveling through a long passage, and on the passage you will learn some basic operation, and some tutorial will be conducted along the passage. And you're going to travel to point number two, and then to point number three and four and five and six, blah blah blah, and later. And the last point you are going to reach is the point number 15. So over here. So as you can see, the point 15 is really high. It's a hill. Actually, it's a hill. So there will be a great crawl to catch you on this hill and bring you to another town. So this is the plot arrangement. So like you can see in the annotation, there are some interactive elements in this level, and they are annotated like this. And the connection could be annotated by some dashed line also. So without any special events, you are going to navigate through 1 to 15 events. Okay, but this is not linear. If you like, you can skip some of it, and you can even switch the order if you be possible to travel back and do some special operations. Okay, that is Dark Souls. So this is a nice example of whiteboard. So I hope later I will teach you how to arrange your whiteboard and make it to a gray box. Now let's talk about the second topic is gray box. The gray box is turned from your whiteboard, and there are some gray box tool. We call this kind of tool a CSG tool. Later, we are going to teach you how to use one of them. So before we teach you how to do CSG gray box, let's look at some example on internet. Okay, from this post, the author show us some level design when the video game is finished, before the video game is finished. And the author is talking about there is a big event, and the event's name is Blacktober. Just like you can see, it's in October, and it's talking about great blocks. So if you find this hashtag on Twitter, you will search, you will find so many nice examples. So many nice examples on Twitter. Oh no. All right, so this is one of the Blacktober images. Just like you can see, everything is in grid. So with the help of grid texture, you're able to measure the scale correctly. So scale is the most important thing in your prototype. Oh, this is another view. And just like you can see, some of the assets are put as some modular asset. like the rock, like the grid over here, and even we can use some CSG. This is CSG block to represent for this asset, but probably they already have some modular asset on hand, so they directly put the asset into the scene. Okay. No one will guarantee that any of the asset will be mature at this moment. So, like this train, probably the train is made in 5 minutes, I guess. Okay. So you have to have some imagination when you are when we are evaluating somebody's prototype. Okay. So let's go back to our slides. Okay, there are some examples below, and these games are Payday 2, Blacklight, God of War, Medal of Honor. So I think God of War is a very, very famous title on PS3 and PS4. Anybody played God of War before? Oh, great. Okay. So I think if you have the game in your home, you can go back and open that again and have an experience again and look at the level design uh, in a more detailed manner. Okay, because the level design of God of War is really really amazing, really really good. And the God of War uses the camera skill from a film. So throughout the whole game, you feel that you're looking at a film, not a game. So I can say God of War is even an interactive movie. Actually, some part of God of War is interactive movie, real. And the next one is Medal of Honor. This is also a famous title. So let's look at the prototype of it. See, this is not fancy at all. Everything is block and some checkerboard texture on it. So we will have an assignment to let you do some grade bus and go back, bring your work back to this class, and then let's have a discussion and share our experience to each other. All right. So let's talk about the production pipeline of level design. The first thing of level design is to find some reference because most of the time you are not going to make a purely imagination scene. Most of your scene should be come from the inspiration of existing scenes. So for this example, it's going to make a factory. So you have to find some image of factory, I mean real world factory on internet, and pin the image next to the area. So you can call this a mood board. Somebody will call this kind of pinning image a mood board design. Okay. And by the way, if you are going to draw some sketch, I will recommend you draw on some grid papers. So on grid paper, you can directly measure the size of your architecture by reading the grid, right? So this is not a nice example because this is not done on grid paper. Okay, so this is perfect. Nice one. Next. And what you see on this slide is the prototype of Jedi Knights. It's a very famous game. So see, this is the prototype. Everything is gray box, and this is the final product. A huge jump, a huge leap in quality, right? So in the prototype phase, the only thing you have to take about is scale and the route and the event. So after that, you have a large time, you have plenty time to make things look beautiful. So beautiful is not the key point in prototype. Get it? All right. So more example could be found over here. This one is prototype, and this one is finished product, and this one is prototype, and this one is finished product. See a huge leap in quality. So if you want to see more, you can have a link below. So you see some example from Twitter. See, you really need some imagination to enjoy the playing of prototype. Wow, wow, wow. Checkerboard everywhere, right? Oh, okay. So much vegetation. Okay, that's it. We're not going through uh, the whole materials. Okay, so I think you can have some time to explore the link I provided in this slides. All right, so we've spent so much time talking about the pipeline of level design. So in this semester, our pipeline will be like this. The first thing is to make a whiteboard and then generate a gray box according to your whiteboard design. And then your design should be locked down. The term lockdown means you will never change the design hereafter. The design is locked. So unless some important things happen, otherwise you are not going to change anything in it. Okay, so after the design is locked down, you're going to create the whole level. And in our class, we're going to use modular design, just like you see in the last class. You're going to find some modular asset from internet, or you can build by yourself. And by stacking, by keep bashing your modular asset, you can make the whole level. So that's our design pipeline. All right, so here is a sample pipeline for you. This is an internet article talking about he's going to remake the throne room using UE4 engine. So you can see the blockout and you can see the hero props and texturing he made throughout the process. But in this example, the author did not do any whiteboard, so the level is not huge. The level is focusing in the in the song scene. So without the help of whiteboard, you can clearly imagine where the passage will be, and then this is what I told before. Okay, all right. So okay, let's stop at here, and we're going to have some exercise later. We're going to draw a sketch whiteboard in this class. Okay, so bring your white paper. If you have green paper, it will be better than a white paper. Okay, we're going to have your first drawing or your whiteboard.